Who's your lover boy?
Hello and welcome, I'm Tim and this is SV Paquita. This is a third video in our series of repositioning the boat from New England down to Florida to spend some time in the Bahamas.
Eso!
Sometimes you put $1 million worth of food in the freezers, the fridge, but sometimes when it's rolling and everything's all messed up down below, it's nice to have some ramen, or in this case I think there's Vietnamese pho noodles in their own little bowls, so you just heat up the electric kettle, pour it in there, throw some hot dogs in there, get a good meal. Anyway, that was one of the things you might be hearing in the background is our boat is split about 180 degrees politically, and we had taken off on election day. Election day or the day after. The day after, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it was the day after election day we took off. And so half the boat was happy and the other half of the boat was sad. But good friends want to be able to work that out. But we had some ribbing going on anyway. Come along as we go through here. This is, I think we've gone by Hatteras, we've been through the worst of it, and now we finally got some fair wind and sailing along. Enjoy. Well, it's Wednesday, so I guess that makes this the start of the second week. We should have been there by now. Anyway, we've got 270-ish miles to go. We're way out. Like if you snapped a rum line between Cape Hatteras and Fort Lauderdale, we're out there, so we're probably a good 100 miles offshore. And we're moving along. All through the night we were hitting 7s with just the jib up. But right now we're doing mostly about 5-ish, and that's still going to be all right. We don't want to get in too early, so that'll be all right. But that's 2 more days from now, and I think we're going to lose the wind before then. We had a casualty last night. We heard a big crash, broken glass. One of the most vital pieces of equipment gave up its life on this trip, and that was the coffee pot. Oddly enough, the coffee pot, the carafe that comes out of the machine, this is the 2nd or 3rd one, so you know, if at first you don't succeed, you should fail again, or at least that's what I've done. So Chrysaliana and I are having our coffee. You guys should tell her in the comments she doesn't want to be seen because she says she's fea, or ugly. I don't think she's ever ugly. Tell her in the comments that she's fine. It's alright to be real on camera. You don't have to be all done up. Or doobie. But anyway, I put the basket on top of our coffee cup and did the drip method through the water. Luckily the electric kettle is still working. And yeah, it's pretty rolly. If we didn't have these huge massive swells, it would have, you know, I shouldn't say that. Every once in a while, you know, like it'll be really unbearable for a while, and then after a while, then it just like calms down, and then it's kind of cool, and then it gets really unbearable again. But anyway, that's that. The arch, luckily, is standing up still. And I don't think this is probably going to be a good idea, but I'm going to fire up the egg later on today for dinner. I pulled out some lamb to put some lamb chops on there. And the problem, I'm familiar enough with cooking with Kamado grills, so I'm not worried about the fire. What I'm worried about is that we're basically downwind, so all the smoke is going to come into here. So I think it's going to be a disaster, but one that will make for a good story anyway. Anyway, that's all we have from here, and hopefully things will get better, and check in with you later. You're going to document me rolling one overboard. Currently about 150 miles offshore, with a little over 200 miles to go to get to Fort Lauderdale. Blowing about 25, 27, and looks like one side of the grill's hotter than the other. So I'm going to slow this down for a second. But this is I'd say lamb chops, but they're really loin chops, but I believe they're the loin of the lamb. But you never know, because I have heard reports that they're eating the cats and eating the dogs. So who knows? So who knows where the loin came from? Well, here we are. It's about 10 miles to go before we get inside Port Everglades and Fort Lauderdale. Oh, I'm proud of the old girl. She did well. This is not a fun trip at all. Think about lessons learned, what I would have done different. One thing is, you know, I think one of my friends in the airline industry has always talked about how people are always taught to trust their instruments, and that's something that I usually do, sometimes maybe to a fault. And in this particular case, I think that I used too much of my I counted too much on PredictWind, and they went on a course that I would not have gone, and I said, well, you know what, we'll try it. And it was miserable. I don't think I'll ever need to do that again. I think all the times, like I say, even on the tugboat, the places that when we go up and down the coast, we never go across the stream twice like this, you know. And and especially a boat like this, we don't have the horsepower to go through it when it's rough, when it's a constant 6 foot, sometimes 8 foot in there, and we're crashing into a headwind and a couple knots of tide with the Gulf Stream there. We're lucky to make 1.5 to 2 knots, so it took us almost a day to get through there. I'll never do that again. But the things that I've learned, one thing is that this is something I've been working on all my life to try to get better, and that's that sometimes I can get something going or fix a problem just good enough to get going, but I don't do it correctly, and I don't do the whole thing, and I like you wire something up and it works and you go, okay, go, but you didn't really tuck everything away and secure all the wires and do all that sort of stuff, and log it in your book and all that. And those are the things that end up biting me in the butt. And it's funny because when I'm at work professionally, I'm required to do those sorts of things, and I think that I do those things professionally, and I think I do them well because but then when I don't have a governing agency like the Coast Guard looking over me, or my employer wanting me to work within the the company policies, I'm here and I kind of let things go, and that has proved not to be a good thing for me, and not just this trip. Throughout my entire life I've done that, and I say this because I'm really trying. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I'm really trying to see if I can get better. What am I talking about? Crystalita and I have been on this boat almost 4 years now, And every time we go offshore, everything gets destroyed downstairs. And every time we get back in, we say, you know what? We need to have a plan. We need to rig for sea. We need to stow everything away. We need to have everything so that the coffee pot doesn't break. We need everything stowed. If it's not glued down to the counter, then or strapped in somewhere, then maybe it should be put in a locker. Well, once again, we didn't do that, and once again, things broke, and it's living in squalor. And you're also, I was increasing the odds of something bad happening, because you know, when broken glass gets down below, you can't even like stop. You know, if you get glass in your feet or something like that, the boat is moving violently, you know. So that's one thing that I really have learned. Another thing I really learned is that I don't think we've ever had such a prolonged beating of almost, you know, the whole trip was what, 9 or 10 days or whatever. I know we left on Tuesday and it's Wednesday now. So, but we've had at least 5 or 6 extremely miserable, hostile, violent days. And it's not like it's like, you know, like you can go out fishing, have 3 hours of bad, really rough, and then go home and you're done. No, man, this has been like 5 days where it's difficult just to use the bathroom. You know, it's everything is difficult. Everything sucks. You're being, you know, taught you can't sleep on the bed. You're getting thrown all around. You're using your lee cloths, and what that has taught me. And of course, while I'm laying in bed, every time you hear anything, it's like it's every wave sounded like a somebody hit. You guys are gonna say I'm all dramatic, but I'm telling you, those that know, you're laying up in this, up in the bunk up here, and the waves hitting on the side of the bow. Sounds like somebody's outside with a sledgehammer just beating on the side of the hull. And you're like, man, this thing has got to come apart. The rig's got to come down. Something like this is just horrible. Well, anyway, she held together. It did do well, but more importantly than that, my friend Rick, he goes with me everywhere, and he's a trooper. But even if Rick didn't like this and said, yeah, I never want to do this again, I would miss my friend, but I would continue on with my journey. I don't know that that would be the case with Chrysalida. And Chrysalida does not come from a maritime background, or she never grew up around the water or anything like that. She is a Latina that swims, and there aren't a lot of those around. But anyways, yeah, no, she never once complained. So you all right? She never once felt seasick. She never had a problem. She'd be down there in that bunk, and I'd be hanging on, getting up there, and you see her lift up off the bunk and then come down, compress into the bunk and lift up off of it. She just doesn't care. And you know, it's funny because I think that she thinks that those rough days, that is cruising. And to an extent you could say that it is. The only thing is that that might be, you know, anywhere from 1 to 10% of cruising. The rest is like this, where it's beautiful. And so I am just so happy that in what like I say, I don't have any room to complain. This was my choice. I did this as a career. I've been out on the water all my life, and it's my boat, my dream to sail around. So I can't complain about the weather out here. And I was not real happy out here. And to think that Chrysalida just sucked it up, never had a problem, never complained, never said how much longer, when's it gonna get better, any of that stuff. She didn't do any of that. So, you know, all things work together for good. And this trip may have, you know, our next big trip, well, you know, we're going to go to the Bahamas after this a few times, and then in the spring go up north, and then hopefully, if everything's right, in May we'll head off to the Azores, May or June, the Azores, and then over to the Mediterranean. So this might have been a really, really, really good shakedown cruise, in the sense, everybody's put their boat in a bad position, or, you know, the boat's gone bang, or the rig's gone pop, 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 or whatever, and you said, oh, I wonder how much this is gonna. Well, you know what? I can tell you, we've beat this poor old girl up real hard for 5 days, and very hard for 10. I mean, it's not beat up now, but you know what I mean? I mean, this is the first day that you see me film up here, because we haven't been able to leave the cockpit. It's been so nasty. And we're right at the end too. Anyway, so it makes me feel good. Our shakedown as far as knowing that the boat can handle it. But more importantly, I didn't want to get halfway to the Azores or get to the Azores and have Crysalita get off the boat and say, I never want to get on the boat again. So that's a win. So anyway, that's all I have to report. You guys are probably sick of hearing me. You can see right here, I had these radar reflectors right here. They make them the long skinny ones or the same size but 4-inch instead of 2-inch diameter. I had a 4-inch one, and I had D-Son, my son-in-law, put it all the way up there. And when I was messing around with the spinnaker halyard went over and snapped it, and it had been in the sun long enough that it came down to pieces. Oh, wow. Rick is yelling this. I just see some black things in the water over here. I don't know what they were. Dolphin maybe? I just saw for a second. He's yelling back there. Oh, they're there, they're there. See them? There they are. Oh, look at this. What a treat. He yell at Crysalita. Amor, hay Dolfina. Dolfina. Aquí. Oh, how cute. They don't even look like dolphins. I mean, God, they almost look like, I don't know. I guess they're dolphins, porpoises. You know how they use this? Yeah, you see. Oh, how cute. They must be feeding on something. Yeah, they're not like the ones that you normally see. God, are these like pilot whales? No. Oh, I know. Just showing me, I don't know anything. Oh, look at them, look at them. Oh, look, they're huge. Oh, they're playing. Hello, hello. Hey, what's going on there, buddy? How cute. Amor, venga. Well, this might be an omen. Welcoming us in. Venga, todo aquí. Ay, mira, este es. Sí, son grandes, ¿no? Aquí está, mire eso.
¡Hola, bebé! ¡Hola! ¡Ay, qué chulo! ¡Hola, bebé! ¡Hola, bebé! Tú vas corriendo con Paquita. ¿Ah?
Yeah, I guess they're just dolphins chilling. I usually think of them as jumping out of water like we see up north, but I guess these guys are just dolphin tranquilos. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Anyway, to finish up this thought, oh look, there's something in the water down there. No, I own a Cosa Blanca.
No, míralo allá, Paquita,
okay. Oh yeah. Oh, oh wow, he just smacked his tail.
Yeah.
See it? Look at that. Boom.
Oh, look at you. That's a beautiful dolphin.
See. But anyway, I'm all happy. The boat's good. Oh, so I was talking about these things. Yeah, so I bought 2 new ones, and the anchorage was so rolly at in New London that I couldn't get all the way up the mast. So I put these as high as I could. My theory is that I'm going to put one up there and one over there, so that because they're on opposite angles, meaning the ones that go on the spreaders goes to the inside of the top spreader, so they're at the angles, so that even if we're heeled over, one will always work really well. I'm a big believer in well, I don't know, like I say, on my day job, no, I see a lot of sailboats that look really, they show up on radar in flat calm water. Then when it's blowing really hard and your radar's not picking up much because you've got it dialed in because of all the sea clutter, as soon as that mast goes like that, you don't pick up, I can't pick up. And I mean, the radars we have on our tugboats these are huge dollar black box radars, all ARPA radars, and it's really hard to pick stuff up. So if you have a sailboat out there and you only sail in calm water, then I guess you're all set. But if you think that might be a possibility, sometimes you get spanked and you're heeled over 20 degrees or more or whatever, you as a target probably aren't as good as you think you are. Probably, and if people have the sea clutter turned up because it's really rough, because it might be 6 to 8 feet out there, or 4 to 6 feet or whatever, and you're heeled over, you really want to have something up there to return. All right, that's it. Enough of that. Talk to you later.